What is up, guys, and we are back with another reaction video. Now today we're going to react into a video titled Hollywood doesn't know how to write women anymore. Now this is interesting because you see a lot of people complain about how Hollywood movies are in general right now, but they complain about the women a lot as well and how they are written, and basically it's unrealistic and it's just basically just boring. But guys, like, comment, subscribe, share the video, and I'm going to give my opinions throughout the video. Let's get into it.
The unrealistic thing about modern movies isn't the monsters, it isn't the superheroes, it isn't even the multiverses. It's the women. You see, Hollywood has spent the last decade trying to create these empowering female characters, but time after time they end up feeling so unbelievably fake. Like, you can just tell they were written by men who have never spoken to a woman in their life. I mean, seriously, think about that for a second. We'll suspend our disbelief for a man who literally turns green when he's angry, but the second a strong female lead shows up, the entire audience checks out. And no one hates these characters more than women. But what's interesting is that so many people don't understand why we hate these characters. I will see so many comments of people saying, you should be happy you have this representation. But here's the part that people don't understand. Whenever women criticize these characters, the response is always the same. Why are you complaining? You wanted female leads. You should just be happy. But that reaction completely misses the point and is exactly why I want to make this video. Women don't hate these characters because they're strong. They hate these characters because they are so badly written. And I mean so badly written. They hate these characters because they are so badly written.
Damn. Come on, Hulk.
And I mean so badly written to the point where it's actually offensive. Hollywood loves the idea of the strong female lead. For decades, studios have been trying to prove to us that they can write empowered women. But every single time we end up with the same thing, the girl boss. Now, surprisingly, the term girl boss didn't actually start in Hollywood. It began as a motivational movement in the 2010s about female ambition and women supporting women in the corporate world. It started off as a really genuine term, like if you saw a woman leading a company, you'd think, heck yeah, what a girl boss. But unfortunately, once big companies and brands jumped on the trend, the meaning of the word completely changed. Instead of employing more women in high positions of power, they decided to turn girl power into a product. Think feminist coffee mugs and motivational stickers. You know, the companies that will happily sell you a pink t-shirt that says the future is female, even though the t-shirt was made in a sweatshop by underpaid women. This became the new version of the girl boss trend. Act progressive
all the way in
outside,
Shanghai,
but still be backwards on the inside. And once Hollywood sees a trend, they can't help but get their grubby little hands all over it. But before we dive into this, I need to ask you guys a really serious question. Do any of you alone do you life save like a mania attach the video you're watching actually and it's so genuinely. Thank you Oprah for sponsoring today's video. But of course, they couldn't have genuine strong female characters that were actually, you know, written by women. No, that would be far too progressive. I mean, this was the era where women on screen were either damsels in distress or eye candy. There was no in between. You were either there to be saved or there to be looked at. And look, you may argue, well, no, we did have strong female characters like Black Widow. And sure, if your definition of strength is a push-up bra, a skin-tight suit, and a camera that always filmed from the waist down, women were never allowed to just be heroes. They always had to be something to look at first. Also, I just wanted to quickly say that I am currently in Australia visiting family for the next 2 months, hence why I'm sitting on the floor and not at my usual setup. Rest in peace, grey background. So just bear with me, okay? I'm trying my best. So when the girl boss movement came along and women started to say, hey, can we actually get some genuinely badass female characters? Hollywood panicked. But instead of actually learning how to write women, they just swapped one cliche for another. Instead of the damsel in distress, we got the strong female lead. You can see this shift so clearly in the Marvel universe. We go from the hypersexualized Black Widow to the super powerful Captain Marvel. Notice the distinct change in the costume design? This is what I like to call the girl bossification of Marvel, which was pretty much the blueprint of this entire trend. The girl boss character is basically a checklist, and Captain Marvel ticks all the boxes. She's tough, confident, and stunningly beautiful because, of course, some things never change. She hates traditionally girly things, making sure that you know she is not like other girls. You would never catch her dead ordering a cocktail at the bar. Strong women only like beer. Cocktails are for wussies. Crucially, the girl boss is almost always better than everyone at everything. The movie bends over backwards to show us that she's the strongest and the smartest person in the room. On the surface, this
yeah, I think a theme with this, or at least, I don't know, I'll let the video continue, but I think that one of the problems I see is that it's just they just try too much to make them seem. I don't know. It's not like natural. It doesn't feel natural. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't feel. And obviously, look, I'm not saying like when you got a movie about superpowers and stuff, not everything has to work the way it works in the real world. It doesn't have to, but I want to see they tried to do like a female Batman. I think that's one of the things that annoys people as well, is when they try like they'll take like male characters and just rewrite them and put them into female characters. Like, I mean, it just doesn't work. I mean, I'm trying to think. I don't know if it works with what Superwoman. I think a lot of people maybe like Superwoman. I think I've seen Superwoman looked all right, but a lot of these other female, I don't even know most of their names. I can't even tell you, but a lot of these other female superheroes that I've seen, they just, or She-Hulk, like that looks crap. That's not to say good female characters can't be written. I mean, I generally think Hollywood, take an example of anime, because anime, they know how to write good. Well, yeah, they do. Not all parts of anime, but anime know how to write good female leads, or at least good female characters. I think they should take an example. But even I'm trying to think of an example of a good female lead in a movie that actually did. Just give me time. But there has been, you know, certain, I don't know, like for instance, you guys ever watched Gotham, right? I know Jada is not the most popular person, right? Jada Pinkett Smith, but her in Go Watch Gotham, really well done. Like even Batman in general just does really good female characters. But like if you go watch Gotham, the series when Batman before he becomes Batman, you look at some of the other female leads in there, Catwoman, all amazing female characters. So I don't know.
Sounds like an absolute win. Finally, a female hero whose body is in the entire plot. Surely you would think that women would be happy with this change, right? Nope. Women hate Captain Marvel. Yep, that's right. We hate every single one of these strong female characters. And it's not because we hate powerful women. It's because these characters aren't written to be human. Let me show you exactly what I mean. You see, these studios are more interested in
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, they're not. Yeah, that's what I said. Like they're not natural. They're not. Yeah.
Shouting that she's empowering rather than giving her any personality. Take someone like Wonder Woman, or as I like to call her, the human embodiment of a soggy cardboard box. She's strong, confident, and deadly serious at all times. And I mean all times. I don't think she ever relaxes once, let alone smiles. When all the men in the movie are having fun and joking around, she's just in the corner of the room rolling her eyes. Just zero personality. It's like the writers were terrified to make her even the slightest bit unlikable, so they just gave her the personality of a plank of wood and prayed that no one would find her annoying. Captain Marvel is on the other end of the spectrum, where they did give her some personality. And by personality, I mean the most irritating character ever made. She's incredibly bland, overly sarcastic, and hates everyone she encounters, especially men. On top of this, she is the most powerful hero in the MCU with pretty much zero weaknesses, which on paper sounds kind of cool. But the issue is, when a character has no relatable struggles, it gives the audience zero incentive to want to root for her. This is the exact same with most of Marvel's leading women. They have no flaws, no awkwardness, no real character arc. They're not people you can connect with, and audiences see right through that fakeness. This perfectly explains why people had such a big issue with that scene in Avengers Endgame. You know exactly the scene I'm talking about. Every single female superhero just happens to land in the exact same spot for this huge girl power moment. It was supposed to be inspiring, but instead it felt like one of those posters you'd see in your classroom that had a big motivational quote about teamwork. I mean, what did they expect the audience to do? Stand up and start clapping? The female heroes have literally been there for the entire movie. We've seen them. What was the need for this? That scene right there should tell you that these studios have no idea how to write strong women. All we wanted was some cool female heroes that were on an equal playing field to the men. That is it. But instead, they go and give us characters like She-Hulk, which literally no one asked for.
What did I say?
Not only is the show itself terribly made with some of the worst CGI I have ever seen, but it also stars one of the most unlikable girl boss characters in MCU history. Actually, scratch that, in cinema history.
Yeah, she is. Facts.
My biggest pet peeves with these girl boss characters is how, from the get-go, it is established that they are already better than everyone else around them. For example, in She-Hulk, we learn that the original Hulk has been through a 15-year traumatic battle to try and master his powers. It was a tough and brutal journey that nearly ended his life multiple times. But then She-Hulk struts in and immediately does everything better than him. She even tells him to his face that the reason why she can handle her anger better is because, and I quote, she's a woman. I wish I was joking.
God.
Do you see what I mean now by it's actually offensive?
Yeah, I didn't even see that part where awful.
Because this doesn't make any sense. There's no struggle to gain strength or ability. They just make her overpowered because, you know, girl power or whatever. And you would not believe just how many overpowered girl boss characters there actually are. One of the most popular examples is Rey in the Star Wars movies. Rey had the potential to be a fantastic protagonist, but for some reason, writing a good story with a female lead is impossible. So instead of giving her this interesting, brutal, strengthening arc that transforms her into this badass fighter like, you know, all the men have to go through, they just make her better than everyone else. The very same day she discovers the Force, she's immediately strong enough to fight against trained Dark Jedi Kylo Ren. Because that makes sense. She never loses a fight, she never needs help, and she's just immediately a master at everything she does. It's like if I kicked a football once and then a few hours later I was playing up front for Manchester United, just running circles around Ronaldo.
I mean, the way Man United are now.
Just doesn't make sense. And get this, there's a point in the trilogy where Rey becomes so powerful she can literally resurrect people from the dead. I mean, what are we doing here? So when you hear people say that they hate the character Rey, they're not saying it because they hate women. Well, most of them don't. Some of them definitely do. But the rest of them just hate the fact that she's written like this god who never fails. Compare that to a real badass character like Katniss Everdeen. She's a normal teenage girl thrust into a literal fight for her life, and she messes up time and time again. She's stubborn, she's cold, and she makes some pretty questionable choices. She's even incredibly unlikable at times. Shocker, a woman being written as unlikable, I know. But despite this, audiences adored her. Why? Because Katniss felt real. She's not a superhuman warrior who magically aces every single challenge. She breaks down crying, she gets injured, she fails to protect the people that she cares about, and she survives by the skin of her teeth. But these flaws and struggles made her victory feel meaningful. We don't cheer.
She's cooking with this video. She's a great example. Hunger Games. And amazing. I need to rewatch that.
On because she's invincible and automatically better than everyone else. We cheer her on because we've seen her go through absolute hell and we want her to succeed. That is a true badass female character, and The Hunger Games was back in 2012. Can someone please tell me how we've managed to go backwards from there? So remember Katniss when we moved to the disaster that was the live action Mulan. A big reason why the original Mulan worked so well is because she was ordinary. She was clumsy and lacked so much confidence, but she still became a warrior through pure hard work and determination. That was the point of the story. She wasn't born special, she had to prove herself. But the remake threw all of that out of the window. Forget training, forget failure, forget growth. This Mulan is basically a superhero from the start. She got these weird magical powers when she was a kid, which allows her to do random parkour and beat up grown men before even joining the army. Yeah, because that's meant to be feminist, I guess. To me, it was the opposite. By making her special from the get-go, they robbed her character of any chance to grow. And that completely ruins the message of the original story. Instead of telling girls you can work hard and make yourself strong, it tells them, sorry, only the naturally gifted get to be heroes. And it's so annoying because the original Mulan was more of a girl boss than the live action. So what on earth were they thinking by giving her superpowers? Another thing that really bothers me about these characters is how they can never just exist as equals. They always have to put down the men around them in order to be stronger. Just think about how Marvel spent decades building their superheroes from the ground up. They're strong, they're powerful, and they work together to save humanity. The whole point of a superhero is to save the world, right? That's what all the Avengers movies built up to, with some of them even sacrificing themselves to do so. Truly devastating stuff. Jump to Marvel post-2020, where all logic goes completely out the window. In the show She-Hulk, she literally says, and I quote, "Saving the world is for narcissists." I'm sorry, what? So all the people who sacrifice themselves to save the world, Iron Man, Captain America, both of them are narcissists?
Yeah, I would have just cancelled the whole shit. Whoever wrote that line, I would have just fired you straight away. You'd just be gone.
What were the writers thinking? What kind of message does that send to these young boys and girls who idolize these heroes? You're selfish if you want to save others? What a load of BS. I'm sorry, that makes me so angry. Do they realize that feminism is simply the desire to be equal to men? Equal, not to be better, not to put them down, just equals. Hermione Granger is a perfect example of what women actually want to see. Obviously, we know that she's super smart, but sometimes she can also be a really bossy know-it-all. And as much as that annoys some of her friends, they know she's usually right about everything. But importantly, her intelligence doesn't make her above any of her friends. Hermione has strengths, but so does Harry and so does Ron. They all bring something different to the table and they need each other. Yes, Harry is the chosen one. It is literally his story, but without Hermione, he would have died in the first book. Immediately, that's actually a fact. And yet, that never overshadows any of Harry's achievements. Hermione doesn't constantly remind him that she's smarter. She doesn't need to prove that she's better, because the point isn't dominance, it's balance. They're all friends, they're equals. Harry needs Hermione as much as Hermione needs Harry, and that's why she's a perfect example of what a girl boss should be. Feminism isn't about women being better than men, or being the strongest in the room, or never needing help. It's about being treated as equals. And I can't help but think about the Barbie movie in this context. Now, don't get me wrong, I love the Barbie movie, and I think it had so many empowering moments. But a lot of the time, those moments came at the expense of the male characters. The Kens are clueless, powerless, and have the combined IQ of a fart. They're basically useless unless they're hyping the Barbies up. Which I can understand how some people may view this as a yes, girl power, flip the script type of moment, but to me, it's just lazy. Like the movie's idea of feminism is to make the guys look dumb so the girls look smarter. Hermione didn't need every man around her to be dumb to make herself seem smart. She just was smart. A truly good written character doesn't need to put others down. It's the same with that awful 2016 Ghostbusters movie with the all-female cast.
Yeah, she's cooking with this video. That, oh my god. I didn't watch it, but I seen the trailer. It looked awful. That's all. It just looked awful. Like, if you actually paid to go see that movie, I'm sorry. What are you doing? That's all I'm gonna say is, what are you doing? Because I would, from the trailer, because I've watched the original Ghostbusters, which is sick. So I just couldn't bring myself to watch that.
Nearly every man in that movie was either a loser or an idiot. The movie made it very clear that the men would never come close to being as brilliant as the leading ladies. But real women don't need men to be dumb for us to shine. They already are. Already dumb. Joking. But it gets worse because for some reason, Hollywood doesn't just write girl bosses that put down men, they also put down women. You see, girl bosses have been infected with an extreme case of, I'm not like other girls, I'm better. For example, the girl boss will hate shopping, dislike romance, and only ever have male friends. While any female side characters who do like those things are portrayed as stereotypical cringe B-words. These writers treat anything feminine as a weakness. According to them, the only way a woman can be strong is if she acts like a traditional man. I mean, just think about how backwards that is. In almost every—
And if you look at some women today, I mean, we acting like men.
The action movie, the strong lady will have an ugly unisex ponytail, hardly any makeup, and a tomboy attitude. Which, fine, nobody—
I mean, to be fair to, what's her name? Her name's like Taylor Summit.
Unisex
She does look kind of sick.
Ponytail.
I can't lie. This looks kind of cool. I can't lie. But most of the time it doesn't.
Any makeup and a tomboy attitude. Which, fine, nobody needs lipstick to kill an alien, right? But the issue is why writers do this. They seem to think that if a woman likes girly things, then she can't be strong, so they overcorrect. Think of Claire in the Jurassic World franchise. In the first movie, she was very well put together and very feminine, always strutting around in her heels. By the second, she completely changed. They basically had her drop any sign of previous femininity so that she could be taken seriously as an adventurer. Even Disney princesses aren't safe, like in the live-action Snow White. I can't tell you how much I hate that movie. In the original, Snow White is seen as a sweet, nurturing character who makes friends with the animals and sees the good in everyone. Sure, she's not out there slaying dragons, but in my opinion, her strength comes from how she inspires people through her kindness. But sadly, for current Disney standards, her strength was not nearly girl boss enough, so they decided to completely change her.
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
And look, it's completely fine to have a story without romance. That's not the issue. The issue is the way Hollywood frames it, like romance itself is somehow embarrassing or outdated or even anti-feminist. Like you can't be a strong independent woman and want to fall in love. I genuinely hate that narrative. And the frustrating part is this narrative sneaks into genuinely good characters. Take Merida and Moana. They're fantastic examples of well-written, strong female characters. Neither of their stories involve love interests. Which, by the way, totally fine. But it's interesting that the only time Hollywood seems comfortable writing a strong woman is when she has absolutely zero interest in love at all. Because personally, I would love a strong female character who also dreams of true love. Not because she needs it, but because she wants it. The original Snow White loved baking. She loved caring for other people. She dreamt about falling in love. Does every woman relate to that? Of course not, but the women that do aren't any less feminist because of it. Wanting softness, romance, or love doesn't cancel out strength. And pretending it does is another way of putting women in a box, just a different one this time. The bottom line is, women do love strong female characters. I know, shocking. We've always rooted for strong women on screen. Hollywood needs to just remember that strong doesn't mean perfect. In fact, some of the most powerful female characters are the ones who aren't perfect. Think of characters in comedies like Bridget Jones or Fleabag. They are so far from perfect, and that makes them so refreshing and relatable. I do think we're starting to get somewhere with female superheroes with characters like Yelena. She's badass and strong whilst also being deeply complex. When female characters are written with the same complexity, vulnerability, and growth as male characters have traditionally been, audiences absolutely love it. We want women who screw up and then learn, who cry and get back up, who can be warriors and friends, lovers, mothers, and sisters all at the same time. That is the true meaning of strength. So, Hollywood and any aspiring writers out there, go ahead and let your female character.
But it's not even like, sorry, because the video's nearly done. It's not even that hard. Like, that's the thing. It's like, I'm not saying, obviously writing a full movie is going to be hard, but it's not that in terms of like the fundamentals of how to write a female character. It's really not that hard. Again, you look at anime, you look at even if you look at, I don't know, even if you look at Asian shows, a lot of the times, that's why in terms of gaming shows, that's why they're dominating right now in terms of just how shows are meant to be written. Because like, I don't know, you look at like, I don't know, if any guys have watched Attack on Titans, right? You look at a character like Mikasa, right? She's written so well. She's a strong character. She's one of the strongest characters in the show. Only Levi, one character being stronger than her. But I mean, Eren gets stronger towards the end, but like, point being, she's a good character. You see her development. She's written well, and it works. But it's not that hard in terms of like the main fundamentals. It's just, I don't know, people just want to see what they see, but then at the same time, I don't get it at the same time, because when these movies actually come out, they don't make the intended money that they want to make, right? They don't even, some movies don't even come close to the budget that they spent. I mean, i.e. the Snow White thing, I know that didn't sell nowhere near enough the amount that they wanted it to sell, so.
Fail and be messy, but above all, just let them be human. Because at the end of the day, the secret to making women and everyone love your female lead is simple. Make her a great character, and the strong part will take care of itself. Let me know down below your opinion on girl bosses, who are some of your least favorites, and who are some that are just picture perfect. If you made it this far, comment the word human so I can see everyone who shares the same passion about this topic as me.
Yeah. You know what? W video, because she was cooking with all the examples she was given. She was cooking right there. The Hunger Games, the She-Hulk. Yeah, she's amazing right now. But look, guys, let me know what you think about it. Let me know what you think about how movies are right now. I just think movies, TV shows, just everything in this kind of, from, I don't know where it starts from. Maybe it starts from COVID. It's just, everything's just crap and depressing. Yeah, guys, like, comment, subscribe, share the video, and I'm out.